Can I
Uh,
share the screen?
hold on 1 second. Can somebody else share screen? Somebody new?
I am new. I am Ramal.
Okay, go ahead. You can share screen. There are other people in the class, guys. You should start sharing screen. Only people who are sharing screen. Yep. Okay. Anyways, it's Ramil is already sharing screen, but don't worry that you're not
Too
doing
late,
the right
guys, for today. Too late
Yeah.
for today. I'm sharing.
Okay. So I gave a simple. Assignment. I gave you a flat file and I gave you a target table, and I wanted you to load data from flat file to target table. I am going to cover an interview question in that assignment which I gave. So your jobs should have failed, right? So let's do the assignment first.
Abdul, I'm gonna create right now from the scratch with a different name because
Yeah.
I had some mistakes. I was researching a lot of time. I couldn't find what's going on over there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the problem to the end of the class. So I won't take your time now, okay?
Yeah. No, your workflow should have failed because I did not teach you how to fix that. So your workflow, I wanted to see how well you can research and figure out how to fix that problem.
So do you want me to go ahead from the scratch?
Yes, from the scratch, please.
Okay.
Just create a brand new file name and another target table, okay? So can you open the question? Tonya, were you able to do it?
I was, but I actually watched the videos that you shared, so
Oh,
the
okay.
answer was there.
Okay. I mean, yeah, as long as you do it, whether you do it from Google or from other videos, doesn't matter. Okay, the question was, double click on this. So I gave this flat file. Okay, I gave this flat file. I wanted you to load data into a target table, which we have done plenty of times. But this time, the target table has a primary key, right? 1 second. So why does your file name have .txt here? The file name should not have .txt. On the right side, it should say text document. That it itself means it's .txt. Yeah. Say yes. Actually, you need .txt here. Sorry. And just rename it. Yeah, just put .txt. Okay. Yeah. So double click on this file again. So I gave you a flat file, simple flat file, okay, with three columns, 3 rows. And I said, please load this data into a target table. Can you show me the target table now? Yeah, you can close this flat file. Make sure all flat files are closed, okay? Then I said, load data to a table. And there is a primary key on the target table, right? Can you highlight the, yeah, so create a table. Okay. No, I did not ask. I think you're doing.
I know. I was trying something else. I will try to do the new table right now.
Yeah, please create a brand new table. You guys are doing good. You guys are already going ahead of class, so you'll understand much better. Okay. So emp ID name, department ID. Emp ID should be primary key. So I will cover, your workflow will fail, and then I will cover an interview question here. And everyone, please make sure that you end the recording. You end the call when you finish the. I was up till 12:30 in the night talking to Google, and I was kind of rude to him. I was telling him that this service is really bad. I had Zoom and it was much better. And he was like, no, it takes time. I was like, no, it never took time before it. My recordings were always, I receive it in 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, even I was not aware, so it's okay. Okay, so I have a flat file. I want you to load data into a table which has a primary key. Simple. So first thing you will do is create the structure of the target table. Okay, you already created the structure of the target table. Step 1 is done. Let's do step 2. So import the structure of the source. You already imported the structure of the source, right? Okay, just import it again. Import the structure of the source. Okay. Next. Yeah. Next. And finish. It will ask you, do you want to replace? Because you already have it before, right? Just say replace. Okay, Control S. Now, second step is done. Import the structure of source is done. Now let's import the structure of the target. Target is a table, so be careful. Your table should be del1. Type in del. Search for del, because you'll have too many tables with employee. Yeah, you should see 2 tables here. Why is wait? Hold on. What is your target table name? Go back to your database. Okay, emp del empl. Okay, yeah, import that. So import the structure here. You're not importing the table. You're importing the structure of the table. Okay, do Control S. Okay, hold on 1 second. Do you see a golden or a yellow key next to emp ID? That means that's a key column. Okay, that means it's a key column. That's a primary key or a constraint. That column has a constraint on it. Okay, anyways. So you created the structure of the target, you imported the structure of source, imported the structure of target. 3 steps are done. Now the next step is create a mapping. Okay, let's create mapping. So previously, for you to do this, you guys were taking so long, right? Now see how quickly you guys are moving now. So say m underscore ff underscore aura underscore del underscore empl. Yeah, click OK. Drag and drop your source, drag and drop your target, map them. The one below that, yeah. Okay, just map all the columns, right click, select all, drag and drop emp ID to emp ID, and all the columns will get mapped. No, that is incorrect. You mapped emp ID to name. Here, and delete those delete those links. Yeah, be very careful, guys. A lot of people make mistake here. Yeah, Control S. On the bottom left, it says mapping is valid. So you did 4 steps. Let's do the 5th step.
Control S.
Yeah, he did. So create a session now. You can clear this out. You don't have to. Yeah, clear this out now. Create a session. The 3rd one. Right? Click OK. Control S. Okay, what's the first thing you will do here? Start with config object. Start with config object. First thing you will do is stop and error should always be 1 because you want the workflow to fail on the first bad record. Very good. Now you will go to mappings, you will go to source and make sure you're reading data from the right folder. So the folder name is not correct there. So he's reading data from C Informatica 9.6.1 server info-shared src files, and then del. So he's missing the folder del there. Backslash. Make sure the file name is correct. Now, the next thing he will do is he will make sure that truncate table option is selected. Otherwise, it will keep inserting the same set of data multiple times. Control S. Okay.
Ramil, please double check the source directory. I think there is a 2 backslash here.
Yeah. Put 2 backslashes in the front. No, good one. Okay. Say okay. Control S. And create a workflow. Very good. You did not take any time to do this. It's very simple. So create a workflow. WF underscore. Control S. Control S. Okay, and start the workflow. Your workflow is what?
Sorry, Abdul, he created the reusable session.
Yeah, he created a reusable session. Okay, I'll get to that later. Okay, guys. So once you create a mapping, you don't always have to create a session. You can directly create a workflow. Okay, I will get to that later. Okay. Now there is a problem here. Your session is failing, but workflow is not failing. Can you fix that? When session fails, workflow should also fail.
General.
Can somebody help him out? Why is this session failing and workflow not failing?
Go to general.
No, the parent. We have to enable it. If the parent.
Yeah. Make sure. So these are the checks you need to do. Stop on error as one. Make sure the truncate table option is selected. Make sure the folder name is correct. Make sure the file name is correct, and make sure that the fail parent if child fails is selected. Okay. So now the workflow is failing, right? So can you check why the workflow is failing? So you're doing a simple thing. You're transferring data from a flat file to a table, because table is the best place to store data, because you can manipulate the data very easily. But we did this plenty of times. But why is it failing now? The only change we did was we have a primary key. Okay, so what does the error message say? What does the error message say? Okay, it says table has an index defined on it. So how do you fix this? So take a screenshot of this error message. Remember the 3 error messages we worked on yesterday? This is the 4th error message. I have a document with all the error messages pasted there, but I want you guys to take a screenshot and write down how we fixed it. So we did 3 yesterday. So this is the 4th one. Okay. You don't have to send it to anyone. They'll take screenshots from your screen or from the recorded sessions. But for whenever you see this error message, how would you fix this? Okay. So yeah, once you take a screenshot. Click on new. You don't have to search for it every time. You can right click on it and say pin to taskbar. Okay, click on new. No, click on new again. Yeah, now highlight that whatever you want to delete, cut. Okay, and yeah, just leave it. It will be there. So whenever you see this error message, index defined on it, that means you are okay. So how do you fix this? There are 2 ways to fix this. Okay, close this. So whenever you see this error message, go back to your session. Go back to your session in Workflow Manager. Don't close this. Guys, don't close it. Just keep it open. Okay, go back to your session. In Task Developer, double click on this. Double click on this session. So this was the assignment question, your workflow failed. So there are two ways to fix it. Okay, go to mappings, go to target and scroll down. Okay, do you see that? Hold on. Just stay there. Do you see the target load type? It's bulk, right? Okay. Whenever you have any constraints defined on the table, you cannot use bulk mode. You have to use normal mode. Is that clear to everyone? Whenever you have a constraint defined on your target table, you cannot use bulk mode. You have to use normal mode. This is one way of fixing data. So click OK and Control S and go to your workflow. Yeah, and run the workflow again. So previously the workflow was failing. Now it will succeed. It will complete successfully. See, the workflow completed successfully, right? Is this clear to everyone? Now check your data. Just because workflow completed successfully doesn't mean your data is loaded. Okay. So now it's working fine. So what did we learn today? If your target table has a constraint defined on it, whether it's primary key constraint, unique, not null, default, check, foreign key, any kind of constraint defined on your target table, you cannot use bulk mode. You will have to use normal mode. Is that clear to everyone?
Okay, can I ask something? This message, the error message, it says, it talks about index. Remember when Ramil was saying, we were having this conversation that the index, unique index has the same name as the primary key, like it usually starts with the S and there's the numbers and they're usually the same. So this message says, it talks about index.
Yes.
So we automatically supposed to know that it has to do with the primary
constraint. Yeah, it has to do with a constraint. Okay. It won't say constraint defined on it. It will say index defined on it. So the moment you see this error message, it means that there is a constraint defined on your target table and you're trying to use bulk mode. So you cannot use bulk mode. You have to use normal mode. There is a problem now. Okay. There is a problem. Right now, you only have 3 records. So if you do normal mode, it's going to work fine. It's okay. Suppose you have 1 million records. Okay, suppose you have 1 million records. Okay, in that case, will you use normal mode? Normal mode will not work. It will work, but it's going to be very, very slow. Suppose you have 10 million records. You cannot use normal mode. Okay, you have to use bulk mode. But if you use bulk mode, it's failing, right? So this is an interview question. If your target table has constraints defined on it, and how do you use bulk mode? Every single interview, they'll ask this question. Okay, you can ask Fahad and you can ask Wasim. They're both here. They're working, so they know. Every single interview, they will ask this question. You have a target table with indexes, with constraints defined on it. How do you use bulk mode? Because I don't want to use normal mode. Normal mode is working fine. So how do you fix that? Okay, so we will have to disable and enable the constraints. Okay, so we will have to disable the constraints, load the data and enable the constraints. Then you can use bulk mode. Okay, how do we do that? Go back to your database. Double click on this table on the left side. Find out what the constraint names are. You can either do it this way or you can write select star from all underscore constraints with. You can do it that way. Okay, copy the constraint name here. Go to constraints and copy the constraint name. Control C and go back to your SQL worksheet. So how do you disable a constraint on a table? Update is used to change data inside the table. Okay, so you will write alter statement. Alter is used to change the structure of the table. So I want to disable the constraint. You have to use a DDL.
Disable.
Yeah, alter table
Yes.
name.
Disable constraint,
Yeah, and then the constraint name,
constraint name.
and put a semicolon there. Okay, copy this. Okay, anyways, it's okay. Okay, go back. So copy this and go to your session. Nothing. You will not do anything from. You will not do anything from here. Everything has to happen through Powercenter. Go to your. Don't close this. Don't close this. I don't know why you keep. Yeah, minimize it. Okay, go to your session in Workflow Manager. Okay, double click on your session. Go to Mappings tab. Go to Targets. Scroll down. You will see something called as pre-SQL. Keep scrolling down all the way till the bottom. You see pre-SQL. Enter that pre-SQL and paste it here. So what does pre-SQL mean? It means before the data load will happen, this will execute. Say okay. Can you also write a commit? Okay, you don't write. You're going to say that. So it's yeah. Okay. So what is pre-SQL means? Before the data load will happen, you will disable the constraints. Then the data load will happen in bulk mode, and then you will enable the constraints back. Okay, go to the last line. Yeah, make it bulk. Make it bulk. Go to the scroll all the way till the bottom, and you will see post SQL. So enter the post SQL, paste this, do Control V, and change disable to enable. Okay, so say apply, say okay. Control S, Control S. So guys, what did we do here? We are transferring data from flat file to a table. Table has a constraint defined on it. You cannot use bulk mode. Simple fixes, use normal mode. But if your data volume is huge, you have to use bulk mode. Why? Because normal mode will be very slow. So if you have a constraint defined on your target table and you still want to use bulk mode, you will write pre and post SQL to disable and enable the constraints. Okay, then you will be allowed to use. Then you don't execute this. Don't execute it. Okay, now run the workflow. Now run the workflow. Is that clear? Now check your data. So this is an interview question. If you have a constraint defined on your target table and you want to use bulk mode, how do you use it?
So Abdul, is it for like if you have more than one constraints on the same table, they all have to be disabled?
Yeah, you have to have 100 constraints. You will have to write 100 disable and enable. Is that clear? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now,
So as I see that, like we don't need go to here and then enable again. It
no.
did it by itself.
It does it, but that's what I said. Powercenter will do everything. You will not manually, because you will have hundreds of tables. You will not be enabling and disabling for hundreds of tables. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes.
Wait. Somebody said drop the index. You can drop the index also, but disable and enable is better than drop and recreate. Why do you want to drop and then recreate? Disable and enable. Okay. Instead of drop and recreate, you can say disable and enable. Is that clear to everyone? Now, suppose you have, now tomorrow you have another index, tomorrow you have another constraints, like a not null constraint on a second column. If you have a not null constraint on the second column, so you will have to write two alter statements, right? Two alter statements and enable, disable, and then two alter statements to alter to disable, and then two alter to enable. In pre-SQL, you will have two alter statements. In post-SQL, you will have two enable. Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now on day 3, somebody adds a constraint on the third column. So you will again have to go to your pre and post SQL to add, enable and disable the constraint, right? So is that a good way of doing it? So every time somebody adds that, I'm looking for an answer from you guys. Is that the best way of doing it? Like,
No.
okay, so what is the answer here?
Well, we should be able to extract the constraint names and then disable them.
How will you extract it? You're giving me half of the answer. How will you extract it?
Well, of course, by running the query against the table, well, or sorry, against the constraints table, and pull
No.
the.
You will write a stored procedure which will loop through all constraints tables and pick up.
The
Give me an
constraint.
answer, someone. So
Yeah.
you should. Okay, let's go back to the example which we did. What was the PLSQL procedure I gave? Write a stored procedure to loop through all the tables and all the columns to find out value -1. So tomorrow a new column is added. It will automatically do it, right? It will automatically take care of it, right?
Yes.
Did you guys understand?
Yep.
So if people keep adding constraints, you will not keep going to your pre and post SQL to add the constraint name. Or if somebody is removing a constraint, you will not go to your pre and post SQL to disable. So what will you write? You will write a stored procedure which will loop through all constraints table. So previously we had all tab columns, right? Open your stored procedure, Ramil, the one which you wrote. Tony, are you following it?
Yep.
Kamran, find 100. Double click on 500.
Yes, Abdullah, I'm following.
Okay, very good. This is what I'm looking for. So you will write a stored procedure instead of querying all tab columns. Can you highlight all tab columns? Yeah, instead of querying all tab columns, you will say all underscore constraints, and you will find out all the constraints, and then you will loop through. Instead of writing select null from that table, you will write alter table name, disable constraint, and then the constraint name. Okay, and in your pre and post SQL, you will write execute the stored procedure name. Okay, can you write a stored procedure here to get all the columns? Can you write a stored procedure to get all the constraints from employees table? So don't copy this. Don't copy this. Start off with the simple select statement. Then we will build on top of it for a stored procedure. Okay, write a simple select statement to get all the constraints. So
Abdul, we use the concatenate function that you're referring as the stored procedure.
what does that?
We use the concatenate function that all constant names disables.
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Same thing. Whatever you did, people who wrote that, people who practiced and wrote that thing, they can do this. Okay, I don't want to see all the constraints. I only want to see the constraints in HR schema and the table. So you will start off with a simple thing. Table underscore name equals emp underscore del underscore emp. So dynamically, you should find out how many constraints are there. Fahad, are you following?
I am.
Okay. So I don't want to see all the constraint type, owner, search condition. I don't want to see all of that. So what will you type here? No. So you will just type in constraint underscore name, right? Constraint underscore name. And execute this. Very good. Now you have the constraint name. Okay, now you're going to, okay, so write declare. So whatever you did in the previous statement, so write declare. So you will declare a variable called v underscore constraint name. V underscore constraint underscore name. And you will call this as varchar to 30. You cannot have a constraint name more than 30 characters. You cannot have a table name more than 30 characters in Oracle. You cannot have a table name more than 30 characters. So you're going to declare a constraint. Very good. And then open a cursor. So whatever you have in the select statement, put it in a cursor. So say cursor C1 is C1 underscore constraint underscore name. You can just give it some proper names. C underscore constraint underscore name. Cursors will start with C, variables would start with, yeah. So cursors is, and hit delete. Just pull that up. Okay, so this, you're storing the constraint name into this cursor. Okay, very good. And now you will type in begin. Open the cursor. Hit enter. Open the cursor, begin, and then open the cursor. Open C1 under C underscore constraint underscore name, semicolon. Okay, and then you will say loop, and then you will say fetch C1. Oh, sorry, fetch into, no, fetch C underscore constraint name into, no. Fetch the constraint into the variable. Yeah, fetch this constraint into that variable. Okay, and you pasted it twice. Put a semicolon. And now say dbms underscore output. Now we'll just display it. For now we will just display it. Don't start writing alter statement. Okay, so dbms underscore output dot put underscore name. Name, and then you will display v underscore constraint name here. I know people who are following this and who are not following it. Okay, and then you will end the loop, and then you will close the cursor. Close the cursor. Close the cursor. Okay, and then you will say end, and now execute this. You will not see any data. You will not see anything. You will have to write set server output on. User, okay, type in set server output on. Okay, now execute your store the block. Why is it taking so long? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line v underscore constraint. It says error in buffer overflow. You're returning a lot of data. Can you go back? No. Can you go back? Oh yeah, you have to say when to exit, right? Sorry. You have to say when to exit. Exit when the cursor name dot not found. Otherwise, it will keep running forever, and then it will run out of memory. Whenever you put a loop, you have to say when it has to exit. Sorry, you see, you're able to troubleshoot and fix it. Okay, now why are you getting it twice? Clear this out. Execute it. No, why are you saying it twice? How many constraints do you have? Just execute the select statement. You did not select the other, yeah. Okay. Why are you seeing to open the cursor loop, fetch C constraint name into dbms v underscore exit one. Execute this one more time. Do you have something else below? No, you don't have one. Yeah. No, that is weird. Why are you returning 2 times?
Abdul, do you remember Ramil had one time the problem with it was like after executing, like it was not showing anything, and after some time it was showing 3, 4 of them.
Yeah.
Is it related to that?
Shouldn't tell him. Cursor C1 is select from begin, open the cursor, loop, fetch, exit. Oh, you have 2 begins here. Okay, anyways, so go back. No, that is okay. So go back. Yeah, I know that. So go back. So instead of writing a select, instead of displaying data, you can write alter statement here. Okay, you can write alter. So okay, guys, let's do this as an exercise. Okay, you can write us. So let's go back. Let's go back to our Powercenter. Okay, let's go back to our Powercenter.
I think Turab sent something in the group.
So yeah, something like that. No, yeah, something like that. You have to say. You don't have to say select in the front. You will have
Run
to just,
here. Run.
you just have to say alter table.
No, run and see the output, please.
Yeah, something like that. You will have to do, instead of displaying data on the screen, you will have to write execute immediate, and then let's do this as an assignment. So double click on your session. So you understood, right? If a table has a constraint and you want to use bulk mode, you cannot use bulk mode. Okay, you have to use normal mode, or if you want to use bulk mode, you will have to disable and enable the constraint. Okay, double click on your session.
Abdul, right now, I just want to make sure that, like, so that the cursor and loop we did it right. So this was finding all of the constraints in the specific table.
Yeah.
So instead of the changing DBMS, should we put like a copy and paste inside the pre-SQL? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to show that. Yeah, I'm going to show
Okay.
that. So go back to your session. So right now we will just do it the hard way. Just double click on it. Right, show me the pre and post SQL. So you will have to disable and enable the constraint. So instead of doing that, you will write a stored procedure. Tomorrow, if people add more constraints, you don't have to come here and add another alter table and enable constraint, disable and enable constraint. Instead, you will just write execute and then the stored procedure name. It will automatically loop through and find out all those constraints and disable it. Then it will loop through the second one. You will write execute the stored procedure name. Then you will loop. You will have a second stored procedure. First stored procedure will only disable all the constraints. Second stored procedure will enable all the constraints. Okay. Right now, just do this way. Okay. Click on your pre-SQL on the right side and click on the down arrow. See, you will write an alter statement disable constraint and alter statement enable constraint. Is this clear to everyone? This is an important interview question. I don't want you to do it this way. I want you to have a stored procedure to disable constraints, and because tomorrow a new constraint is added, you don't want to come here and write another with a brand new constraint.
I think if Ramil could use that one, it would work still, even if it's displaying 2 times.
You guys can try, but I wanted to cover more topics.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Do it as a homework. Okay. Here.
Sure.
Now, there are others. Cancel this. Okay, scroll up. Just scroll up here on the bottom. Scroll down a little bit, just 2-3 lines. No, you're going up. Go up slowly. One more. Okay, stop. Do you see that truncate table option there? You can uncheck that and scroll down. And you can, in pre-SQL, you can write a truncate table option. Okay. First thing, you can write a truncate table option, and then that table name is already there. So you don't have to select that box. So remember, Turab was saying that no, he did not have a truncate table option selected, but the table was still the data was getting truncated every day. Right. So I told him that maybe somebody wrote a truncate table option. Right. It will work the same way. Instead of writing something, you can check that box. Guys, whatever you write in pre and post SQL will execute directly on the database. Okay. Say okay.
So is there any preference between the two?
No, I use the truncate table option. It's the same thing. If you have a ready-made option there, just use that. I'm just showing there are different ways. Say apply, say okay, Control S and run the workflow. It will work the same way. And run the workflow. Can you check why the data failed? The session failed? Right click and say get session log. Maximize this. Show me the error message. Yeah, that you missed the L right at the end. See, it clearly says table or view does not exist. So you missed the table name. Go back to your session. You did not copy it properly. Go to mappings, go to targets, go to pre-SQL. You missed an L at the end. Yeah. So you see, right, how clearly session log will say, you don't have to depend on anyone. It will clearly say where in the truncate table, wherever you made did you save it? Okay, refresh, just refresh on the top. Don't have to close this, just refresh. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Did it complete successfully? Scroll all the way to the bottom. Yeah, it completed successfully. Okay, close this. Okay, now check your data. So instead of selecting the truncate table option, you can even write truncate table option there. Do select star on your table. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
What happens if you have truncate table option in the post SQL?
It will delete all of them after putting everything inside the table.
Yeah. After loading data, it will wipe out the data.
Yeah,
it will be
it's
empty.
gonna be empty table all the time.
Right. So it doesn't make sense to put truncate table in the post SQL, right? You're loading data and you're truncating it, right? So in your pre and post SQL, you can insert data in other tables also. Is that clear? In your pre and post SQL, you can write insert statement, delete statements, and you can insert data in second or some other tables also. It doesn't have to do something with this table. So in other words, your pre and post SQL is like a SQL worksheet. You can insert data into another table here. Clear?
Yes.
Is this clear to everyone? Just because you're loading data into this table, pre and post SQL doesn't mean you can write something only for this table. If you have departments table, you can write delete from department table where department ID equals to 10. Is this clear to everyone? This is important. I learned this the very hard way. Clear?
Yeah, I mean,
You're not clear the way you're asking. Okay, open this PostgreSQL. I have to ask 4 or 5 times, and you guys will say, no, I'm not. Over here, you can write a delete statement or insert statement or alter another table, employees table or department table. You can insert data. Okay, let's create a brand new table on your database. Or go back. Go back, copy that create table. Do you have your create table script in SQL worksheet? Where is your SQL, where is your create table? I don't think you have it. Okay, write a create, yeah. Do Control Z, keep doing Control Z. Control Z. Okay, just write a create table.
I will write down, it doesn't go back anymore.
Yeah, okay, just write a create table. Don't execute that create table. Just write hr.emp_6_25. Emp ID and name. Emp ID number, name, varchar 215. Okay, don't execute this. And write an insert statement also. Insert into hr.emp_6_25. And then values 1, Abdul, and then write a commit. So you can put create table in pre-SQL and insert statement into post-SQL. Or you can put both of them into pre-SQL, or you can put both of them into post-SQL. Okay, copy this entire create table, insert and everything. Copy this, yeah. And go to your post-SQL or pre-SQL, or you can write it anywhere. You can write one there, one here. Go to your targets, go to pre or post-SQL, anywhere. Go to the last. Okay, hit enter, Control V. Control V. Okay. So once it enables the constraints, then it will create a table and insert the data into this table and do a commit. Okay. Clear? Okay. Click OK. Say apply, say OK, Control S, and run the workflow. Okay, go and check that your database. Do select star on your table and that M625. See, we didn't even execute this, but Powercenter will do it for you in the pre and post SQL. Now, is this clear? My point is, pre and post SQL is not only for the table in which you're loading data. It can be for any table, any insert statements, anything. Okay.
yeah, I think another just a comment or a point to bring. So if we run it second time, of course, unless we drop the table in pre, it will not create in post.
Of course. Yeah. Is that clear to everyone? So can you go to your PostgreSQL and get rid of that statement? And if you check session log, it will tell you what it is executing in pre and post SQL. Everything will be there in session log. Get rid of that create table and okay, click OK. Go to your pre-SQL and delete that truncate table option. And instead select the box, get rid of this. So this is like your SQL worksheet. Anything you write here will execute on C. It's like executing in SQL worksheet. Click OK. Select the box truncate table option. Scroll up and select the box truncate table option. Say apply, say OK, Control S. And run your workflow. Show me your data. Not this table. That's not your target table. It's emp underscore del underscore empl. My requirement right now is once I load data to this table, I want Abdul to be in uppercase. In my source file, Abdul is lowercase, right? Once I load data into the target table, I want Abdul to be uppercase. How will I do it?
Update state.
Yeah, simple. Will you do it in pre-SQL or post-SQL?
PostgreSQL.
Post-SQL. No, this is every time we have a problem with update and alter.
Set name.
That is incorrect.
No,
That is
the
incorrect.
quotes.
Set name equals, and Abdul should be uppercase. That is not uppercase. That is called init cap. ABDUL. Okay, don't execute this here. Okay, put this in your PostgreSQL. Commit. Update is a DML, right? Say okay. Say apply. Say okay. Control S on your workflow. Do select store on your table. Clear?
So basically, we even have to put commit and everything in there.
Yeah, that is like your SQL worksheet. Whatever you do in SQL worksheet, the same thing you have to do it. He literally copy pasted what he wrote in SQL worksheet and pasted there, right? Right? Right. Who is missing today? Why do we have so less people?
Ramil, meantime, can you do the uppercase all names?
No.
Is Turab not here today?
I'm here, I'm talking.
Turab is here. Okay.
Turab was the problem.
Who is missing today?
I think we are missing Ali. Is he here?
Ali is here.
I'm here.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, it felt like people were less. Okay, let's proceed. So in the interview, they'll ask you, what did you do with pre and post SQL? You can say with pre and post SQL, the most important thing you did was disable and enable the constraints to use bulk mode. When table has constraints on them, we also used it to perform DMLs on some other tables, DMLs or DDL. Okay, you can insert, update, delete records in that table or any other table. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, it is clear. Ramil, I think the Turab was asking, like, can we do all of the names uppercase?
You want to convert everything to
Yes, I did.
uppercase? How will you convert everything to uppercase? Will you write 3 update statements?
We'll do upper. Can we?
No.
Yeah.
We'll say set name
Can we
equals.
modify? Can we modify?
No modify. Modify is for alter. Set name equals upper of names, bracket and names. I don't know if this will work. Just type in name. No, just type in name. Execute this. Say select star on your table. So you can just, instead of writing 3 different update statements, you can just post this in your PostgreSQL. Everybody will get, all names will get converted to uppercase. Here. Now,
yeah, it is clear.
okay, now get rid of the truncate table option. Get rid of the truncate table option. Say apply, say okay, Control S. Control S. Run your workflow. Okay, workflow failed. Why did workflow fail? You shouldn't be checking the logs. Okay, hold on. Why did the workflow fail?
We're inserting duplicates again.
No, we are, but it failed before that because he did not do a commit. Now nobody can touch the data on that table till you do a commit. You wrote an update statement, right? Go back to your database. Go back to your database. You wrote an update statement. You did not do a commit, right? No, hold on. Don't do it. Don't do anything here right now. Check your session log. So guys, if you insert data and you don't do a commit, that means nobody else can do anything on this table. Okay, the database will keep the table open. It thinks that you're still going to perform more operations. Do you see that? Resource busy and acquire with no wait specified or timeout expired? Because it tried to insert data, but you have the table open, right? Unless you do a commit, then you're saying, okay, I'm done. I'm going to save my data and I'm going to move away from this table. Now other systems or other people can insert or update data. Take a screenshot of this. Resource busy and acquire with no wait. So whenever you see this error message, you need to do a commit. Okay, so you updated data and you didn't do a commit. See, all these error messages are part of production support. Fahad, did you know this? If you see this message resource, I don't think I showed this in the previous class.
No, Abdul Bhai, I'm just seeing it right now.
Yeah. So every batch, I teach some new stuff which I didn't teach in the previous batch. So this batch I showed PLSQL, which I never showed in the previous batches. Okay, just do a commit, execute this, and run the workflow now. Now it will complete successfully. Okay, now run the workflow. Now, what will happen? No, just run the workflow. Hold on. No, wait. Why are you doing Control S? You didn't do anything in Powercenter, right? You did commit on database, so you don't even have to do Control S now. Okay, now run the workflow. What will happen now when he runs the workflow? Run the workflow, it's okay, don't go to workflow monitor.
I think it's gonna double the information. Some of them, 3 of them is gonna be upper, the other ones are gonna be lower, but all the information is gonna be together.
Sonia, what will happen?
I think it's gonna duplicate the informations.
You have a primary key, right? MPID. How can
Yeah,
you
primary key will not let us do this.
Right?
But he
Did we enable it?
We disable and we enable, right?
Yeah. So there's no duplicates.
Okay, guys, we are confusing. Will the workflow complete or fail? It will fail, right? Because you already have 1, 2, 3. Go back to your database. No need to even check this. Go back to your database. You already have MPID 1, 2, and 3. There is a constraint on that column, right? You unchecked truncate table option. So what will happen now? It will try to insert 1, 2, and 3 again, but MPID has primary key. You cannot insert duplicate. It will say unique constraint violated.
No, but we have an alter statement over there.
How does it make a difference? You disable the constraints, you will insert 1, 2, 3, and then enable the constraints. So you will say you will have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, but it has primary key, right? If a column has primary key, can you have duplicates in it? I don't know why you're showing me this. I don't know why you're showing me that disable and enable constraint. Okay. Don't even go to the pre and post SQL. Go to your database. Forget about pre and post SQL. You're saying there will be 2 copies of this: 1, 2, 3, Abdul uppercase, Sam uppercase, Tom uppercase, then 1 Abdul 10, 2 Sam 20, 3 Tom 30, lowercase Abdul, lowercase Sam, lowercase Tom.
So,
That's,
well, it depends.
Hold on. So, is that what you're saying, Ramil?
Yes, I am saying it's gonna come over there.
Okay.
Because we have an alter session over there. We disable the primary key.
Then we are enabling it again, right?
So what? Like we're gonna put the 1, 2, 3 again, and then we're gonna enable that.
So you're saying you will enable the primary key and have duplicates?
I think so.
How can you enable a primary key and have duplicates? Primary key means no duplicates, right?
No, yes, no duplicates.
It will not take it.
Yeah, it failed. It failed for me.
If we are enabling the key after inserting the data, then it won't be enabled, but data will be there.
Data will not be there.
Will not be there, okay.
Ramil, what you're saying is right.
Okay, Abdul, I have a question. So what is the reason that we put the alteration over there if there is a primary key? So why I have to put the alteration over there and then enable disable? So anytime I'm gonna put the copy or duplicate, to the MPID or wherever the primary key. So anytime I'm gonna disable it, it's gonna be the same issue, right?
Okay, my question is simple. Can a column with primary key have duplicates in it? Just say yes or no.
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 Very good. Very good. So a table has a column which has primary key. You can not have duplicates in it. Very good.
Abdul,
wait. Let me complete. Okay. So this column has a primary key on it. In PSQL, you disabled it. So no more constraints on the table. You can insert duplicates. You can insert nulls, whatever you want.
Yes.
So you already have 1, 2, 3. Abdul uppercase, Sam uppercase, Tom uppercase. Then you will insert another 1, 2, 3. Abdul lowercase, Sam, because the constraint is disabled. In the post SQL, when it is trying to enable, you have in the post SQL, you have enable constraint, right?
Yes.
When it is trying to enable the constraint, it will already see duplicates in there and it will fail.
Yeah, it says primary key violated.
Oh, it means that now it's gonna fail from the session because session will go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, because
now it makes sense. Okay, session will gonna fail.
See, I agree what you're saying. So table has three records in it. Primary key is there on it. When you insert data, it will not allow you, but you're disabling. Very good. You enter the duplicates. Very good. Now in the post SQL, it will create a problem. It will say, how can I enable the primary key when you already inserted duplicates? So it will say, okay, no longer. I will not do this. I'm not going to insert the data. It will say, take your data and leave. I will not even enter that because it does not satisfy my the conditions that no duplicates, right? So it will fail. So run your workflow.
Okay, so I have a question. I know that it's gonna fail. So why did we put the alter session over there to disable the primary constraint in our table?
You tell me, why are we using alter session? That's why I started this class, right? I said interview question.
Yes, because it makes me now to think that.
No, because we want to use bulk mode.
For bulk.
We want to use bulk mode, right?
Normal mode and bulk mode.
No, but okay, what about I have millions of data and I cannot use the normal mode? And I have to...
So that millions of records should not have duplicates if you're trying to load it here, because in the primary, you have a primary key constraint on the target table.
So that's why it doesn't make sense to put the alter session over there at any time.
Why?
The primary key.
See, these are two separate things. I don't know why you're talking about.
We just always have to do the truncate table option in this case. We should not forget about it.
Okay, Abdul. So
wait, let him.
Yes, that makes sense. Yes, we have to do the truncate. Now I understand what.
Yeah, the reason I'm doing this, I know what I'm doing doesn't make sense. The only reason I'm doing it, at work, you will see these error messages. So I want you to get used to it. I'm not going to say, okay, this is all going to be happy and, oh, you have to create mapping like this, your workflow will never fail. No, I'm going to show you how workflow works and how workflow fails also. Because if for some reason you have to do production support job, you will only be seeing failures. You will not be creating mappings. They will only give you workflow monitor, and workflow monitor, you will see error messages. So you should know when a job fails, what reason it failed for. Okay. See, pre and post SQL is only we are using because we want to run the workflow faster. Okay. If you remove pre and post SQL and if you make it normal mode, it will again fail because you cannot insert duplicates in the target table.
Okay.
Okay,
Clear?
so can you ask the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So first of all, so if it fails in pre, nothing will happen. And same thing sounds like if it fails in post, nothing will happen. And secondly, whether it's pre or post, so either all the conditions have to be met
Yeah.
or none.
Yeah. If it's failing in post, it doesn't mean it will leave the data and exit out. No.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
So run the workflow.
and if it's failing in pre, nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
Okay.
It's going to be a different message, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a different message. It's going to say unique constraint violated.
Yeah.
Say okay, Control S. So these are all the different error messages which we are seeing. So what will happen? So don't even look at your, okay, so let me explain. So what will happen now? You already have 1, 2, 3. You disable the truncate table option. So the 1, 2, 3 will already be there. Your pre-SQL will work perfectly fine. Disable the constraints. Data load will happen. Very good. When it is trying to enable the constraint, the primary key constraint, it will say, hold on, wait a minute. There are duplicates here. I cannot do it. So it will say, okay, roll back, go back, nothing for you guys. So it will say, it will enable, it will not even load data. And then it will say, okay, that's it. It will exit out. So check your error message now.
I think it's more of a safety measure.
Yeah. So constraint means it has to enforce a policy. Refresh refresh this. See, it says primary key violated. Right?
Abdul. Okay, so I have to, I'm sorry about that. I'm that kind of person that I cannot pass this one right now.
Okay,
so
that's it. Let me share screen.
No. I just want to ask you a quick question. So as I understand that, if there's a, let's say, primary key, right? And if we try to put the data inside the table by using the Powercenter, so the reason that we use that the first to the alter table or the bulk to normal, to just disable the primary key. I understand that even though I don't have the copied like information or duplicate information, it doesn't matter. It doesn't let it go to inside the table anytime without this alter or without the changing the normal, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Like,
yeah.
So it means that like the primary key in SQL, the meaning the primary key like was no duplicate, no nulls. But in the Powercenter, it doesn't matter there is a duplicate or not. You cannot put anything inside without putting the alter session.
Right.
Is it correct?
Yeah.
So why it doesn't give me like an error message if there is a duplicate?
It is giving me the error message, right? It is saying
no. Like in the table at the first, I didn't have the duplicate, right? I had the 3 names. I was trying to put the Abdul Samtom to the new table. But the new table had a primary key and this table was empty. I didn't put any duplicate inside the table. Why it gives me the error message?
It doesn't give you.
It gives me because we put the bulk to normal. I couldn't put the information to the empty table because there's a primary key, but I didn't put any duplicate.
But
there.
you're not.
But you did it twice. You did it twice, so that means you.
No, Tonya, at the first when we tried that, you remember as a homework, when we were trying the SQL table structure, and when we were trying to take this data, which Abdul said that 1 Abdul, 2 Sam, and 3 Tom, right? It is a 3 different name. We were trying at the first time, we were trying to take this information, put it inside the SQL table, empty table, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so because of the, so when we created this table in the SQL, we didn't put any information inside the table. Am I correct? Correct. It was empty table, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if there is a primary key, and if I'm not putting any duplicate inside the table, in SQL, it didn't like give me an error. I was easily putting the information inside the table, right?
You got an error message. You got an error.
SQL. In SQL, when we were putting the information insert into table, then I didn't have a mistake. It was going on. When I had a duplicate, then I had a mistake.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So when you're writing,
I understand my concern. Like,
I got it. Let me explain. So when you created a table, you wrote insert statement into the table. From SQL developer, it will take it because you're doing one insert statement at a time, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. When Powercenter but in Powercenter, you're not doing one at a time. You're doing a bulk mode. When you do bulk mode, it will fail. When you're doing normal mode, it will still work. So when you write insert statement in your SQL developer and you do normal mode in your Powercenter, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. So you remember when we ran the workflow, it failed. It had bulk mode. So I said simple fixes, just make it normal mode. Then it works fine. So when you write insert statements in your SQL developer and when you do normal mode in Powercenter, it's the same thing. So what does normal mode mean? It means take one record, insert it. Take one record, insert it. Take one record and insert it. Bulk mode means Powercenter. So what is the difference? So in SQL developer, you're not doing bulk mode. If you do the same thing, bulk mode in SQL developer, that over there also it will fail. It will say it cannot do bulk load into table because it has a constraint defined on it. So even in SQL developer, then you will have to do a bulk insert in SQL developer and then enable the constraint.
Okay, so it means that it takes a chance of having a duplicate, even though before like you're trying to put it inside the data, it gives a chance that in a bulk mode, it might have a duplicate. So as I understand, if it's a bulk mode, so, and there is a constraint, that's it. You cannot put it inside. You have to disable the constraint. Right?
When you're doing bulk mode, you cannot. When you're doing a bulk mode, you cannot have a constraint. Yes, you're right. You have to disable and then do a bulk insert and then enable the constraint. Now the problem is the problem here is we already have 3 records here, right? And we disable the truncate table option. So 1, 2, 3 is already there. So you disable the constraints, you're trying to insert 1, 2, 3 again, it will take it. It will disable the constraint, pre-SQL will work fine. The insert statements will work fine. But while enabling the constraint in PostSQL, that is when it will throw an error saying that. So when you check, right, it will say at the PostSQL, it will give you an error. Go back and check your session log. Session log. See, pre-SQL will work fine, data load will work fine, and post-SQL, it will see an error message. No. Open the session log. Okay, yeah, here, cannot validate. See, enable constraint, that is part of post-SQL, right? Can you scroll down a little bit? No, wherever you have that highlighted, you see alter table name, enable constraint. No, over there only. Yeah, correct, over there. So that is part of your post-SQL. So pre-SQL completed successfully. Data load will complete successfully. And then post-SQL, the moment a post-SQL, it will see an error. It will say, okay, I'm going to roll back all the data which I inserted. Now, when you do select star on your table, so it already had these 3 records before, right? So what?
This is what I was talking, that it will come over it. Because I think the session has a problem, but the data, it doesn't make a sense then. So
yeah, because it
doesn't make a sense, no. it shouldn't come over here.
Can you run the workflow again?
Of course. Let me go double check it, or let me see if there's a truncate or not.
No, it doesn't have because you didn't select it back, right?
Okay, no,
Yeah, it is
here.
still
Okay.
not there. So you have alter table, disable constraint.
And the take and this. Oh, maybe because of that.
Get rid of that.
Yes, because of that. It makes it double. Okay. Because of that.
Get rid of that.
Okay.
Say OK. Say apply. Say OK.
Apply.
Control S and go to workflow monitor and run your workflow.
Yes, now it makes sense. It will not go there.
And open your workflow monitor. Close this and open a fresh set of session log. Get this and get session log. Maximize this. Severity.
Yeah.
So it just cannot validate primary key violated. And
now we can go to here and see if it will not go there. Oh.
So okay. So when you double click on the table. So actually, sorry, I was incorrect. So it will not roll back the data. It will insert it, but double click on the table.
On which table? Here, on this table.
On the left side. Yeah, double click on it and go to the constraints tab. Refresh this. You see that yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the status is disabled. So there is no more primary key on this table. So
yeah,
what we
that's
need to
what I was telling that, like, it doesn't make a sense in the other case that, like.
Yeah. So it disabled the constraint. It loaded the data. It did a commit, and while creating the constraint back, it will say, okay, I cannot create the constraint because I already inserted the data and I already committed it, so this is no longer valid. Okay, you're right. So is this clear to everyone? It will insert the data, but
don't get me wrong, but I was trying to explain, but I'm sorry if I'm not able to explain my expression. I was thinking, on my opinion, that session is gonna fail, but the data is gonna go to this table because because session is not able to go ahead because first of all we put the data in, but we are not later than because we put the enable the constraint after loading the data. So it means that first is gonna disable, second is gonna put the data there, third is gonna fail. Now it cannot enable again.
So it will disable. Yeah, you're right. It will disable. It will insert the data. It will commit as well. And then while enabling the constraint, it will run into an error. So it will not roll back the data. It will leave it as it is. But the only problem is your primary key will be disabled because it was not able to run the enable part. Is that clear?
Yes, that was my opinion. But I was thinking something else also. So let's say if it had failed to load the data, would it have reversed the steps taken in the pre-SQL?
Let's try it out. So can you go to your source file? Cameron, can you go to your source file? Source file, C Informatica 9.6.1. So in this one, type in, enter that, or type in A comma, and just enter some value here. Okay. Save and close and run the workflow. Hold on 1 second. Can someone tell me where will the workflow fail? Will it fail while reading the data or while writing the data?
I think reading.
It will fail at the read. Yeah, it will fail at the read itself. When it fails at the when it fails at the read itself, nothing will get loaded into the target. So pre-SQL, post-SQL, nothing. So pre-SQL will execute, disable constraint will execute, and then while the data load will happen at the read itself, it will fail. So and then it will exit out. Okay. So go back and run the workflow. No, you don't have to refresh because you made changes outside Powercenter. So right click, restart. You can either refresh or open it again. Get the session log and see at which reader thread or writer thread or where it failed. Yeah, the error message, it failed at the reader thread. No, on your left. Do you see it failed at the reader thread?
Give me 2 seconds. I have to talk to you.
I think you didn't put stop on error. Did you put stop on error as one?
Yes, I think I did it. Let me check it again one more time. I think I did it. At the first, I remember that I did it.
Go to configure object, stop. Yeah, okay. So it failed at the reader itself. Okay, so check your data now.
Here, so it says that the A is a mistake here, right? And
on the left.
number.
If you move to your left, it failed at the reader itself.
Oh, here, reader is failed.
Yeah.
And then second error and third error. So all of them fetch. Fetch means that like a loop, right? It couldn't loop with all of them, right?
It has to go back to the flat file and keep reading the data. So it says data fetch failed. Okay. Okay. Do select star on your table now.
No, it's gonna be here same, I think. So we have now 9. So let me see it now. What's gonna happen? 9.
It will keep it at 9 itself.
Yes, but if we're gonna put the stop error 2, then it's gonna be here 3 of them is gonna come again.
Yes.
It's gonna skip the first 8.
Try it out. Try it out.
Yeah, I can go ahead and try. Okay, let me see here, and I'm gonna make it stop error 2. Then this A is gonna skip, the other one is gonna come now.
It will ignore one bad record, load all the good records. But your primary key will still be disabled.
Let me see from here. Oh, it failed.
Yeah, of course it will fail because it's unable to do the post SQL, right?
Let me see the error first. Okay, we have now 1 error. The row will be skipped, invalid. Oh, but all of them is gonna go ahead because there is no fetch error is come out now.
Yeah,
so it means
it's read 3 rows. But the failure reason will be for post SQL.
Yes. So here now we have 9. Here we have 12.
Okay.
Yes.
So guys, so if you have, if your post SQL will fail, it will read the data, it will disable, read the data, insert it, commit it, and then while doing the post SQL, it will error out. So everything will be good except your primary key will be disabled. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So what did we do today? Guys, hold on one second. Let me share screen. I need to fill this out. Ramil, can you
want me to stop it?
Yes, please. Yeah, please. Okay, I need to do this every day. No, not batch 6. Okay, I need to do this every day.
Abdul, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so Abdul, I have created a table with 3 constraints on it, right? And at first, when I run this session, so ran the workflow, so it failed, right? Then I disabled the primary key and it failed again. Then I disabled the other 2 constraints as well, and I didn't do anything in the post SQL and didn't do anything, and it succeeded. And also it was fetching the data it was showing the data in the database.
Yeah, that is correct. That is normal, but you won't have the constraints enabled, right? Your table will be without any constraints.
My table in database was without constraint, yes.
Yeah, so that's the same thing which Ramil just did, right? But at work, they will say you cannot have a table without a constraint. You need to have the constraints enabled because they don't want to say right now, Ramil has a table with duplicate employee IDs, right? That is very bad. What if the source file has one Abdul 10, one Kamran 20, so 2 people have the same employee ID, right? If you disable the constraints, that is very bad, right? So technically it is able to do it, but functionally it shouldn't happen. Otherwise, now 2 people will have the same employee ID,
right? Yeah.
You should always make sure if a table has a constraint, when you're finished loading the data, the constraint should be enabled. It's like you're renting a house in a good condition. When you're returning it back, it has to be in the same condition the way you took it. So you started data load on a table. It had a constraint. It had 5 columns. So when you finish loading data into a table, the constraint should be there. The number of columns should also be there. The data types, everything should be same. You cannot say, oh, I'm going to load data, but I'm not going to enable the constraints even though it was there. Did you guys get it? So that is when it will be a problem.
So if there are, let's say, million of records, right? Records are loaded, but then again, you are unable to enable the constraint, right? So in that case, I mean, you will have to probably either bring data from the backup, or how are you gonna fix the error then? I mean,
you already know, right? There are duplicates. You'll write select employee ID count star from table group by employee ID having count star greater than 1. Then you would say, okay, these records are causing duplicates. So you will have to delete it from the source file. You will have to call the source team and they'll say, okay, this employee ID was already sent before. We shouldn't have sent it today or something. Right?
Got it. So basically, you will be going back to the people who supplied the data and telling you.
You will not delete it. Even though you will have duplicates, you will not delete it.
Okay.
You will not delete it. You will have to take their permission, get an email confirmation saying that they'll send an email saying that, hey, please delete this and we will look into it tomorrow. And then you say, okay, taking permission from them and deleting it. Okay, what did we do yesterday?
Yesterday, we did the same.
We did errors. We did a couple errors.
Oh, yeah,
Errors.
stop on error.
Stop on error.
That's all we did.
No, we did stop on. We actually did couple of errors. Stop
We did
on
column
error.
not allowed with the different.
Okay. Yeah. Failures. Insert character to number field. And what was one more error? We did 3, right?
Yes.
Today we did primary. Oh, we did the other one. Invalid credentials.
Login denied.
Yes. Invalid user ID password.
Yes. And we did system cannot find the file specified.
Yes, even that one we did.
And instant error rows for source table, instance name.
That's not an error message. I showed you how to read session log.
Yes. Yeah.
So pre-PostgreSQL primary constraint violated, and then what was the one we said where he did not do a commit? So resource busy. So if it says resource busy, that means commit was missing when he manually inserted data. Right? He inserted some. He updated the records and he didn't do a commit. And when he's trying to insert data, it will say resource busy. Okay. Here, everyone.
Yes.
So this is. So let me show you what this is a production issue we had at work today. So we received data like this. Okay, you guys should try it out as well. This is how we receive data. I don't know who decided, but this is how we receive data. This is my coworker's name. This is my coworker's name. We receive. This is an actual production issue at work today. So for some reason, the source team sent us data which was split into 2 different lines. Okay. And so when you import the structure of the source, let me just do this from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to import the flat file.
Abdul, can you please go back to the flat file again, please? I
Yeah,
think I
did you
see
miss
that there
one
is a,
intentionally, or
he's missing
just-
something, I think, over there.
was it missing intentionally, or?
Oh,
No,
the
no.
Khadir is the rest of the name. Okay.
Yeah, the data got split into two different lines.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so even I learned this today. Okay, even I did not know this so far. So whatever I'm learning, I'm teaching you on the same day. In my 12 years, I did not run into this issue, but it's very interesting. So we receive data like this. Let me do a mapping from scratch. So import from file. Okay, let me just give you the data so you guys can, for now, just don't do anything. Just watch what I'm doing here. I did not show this to any previous batches. So the previous batches, I did not show this. So I have a file like this. Okay. So let me import the structure of the source. So desktop, so all files. See, this is my first mapping. I didn't even create any mapping so far. So I will import this. So I will say import field names from first line. Next. So somebody was asking this question yesterday. Why do we have this, right?
Turab was asking.
Yeah. So you were asking, right? Why? When do we use this? So normally, whatever examples we did, it doesn't matter. So in this case, I have to select double quotes. Okay, because my data is enclosed between double quotes, right? So I have to select the double quotes. Okay. So is that clear? When we use this, if your source data is like this, then you have to use that option. Otherwise, so far we did not use this. We will do that. We will do that. So
Abdul, the default was double quote too, usually.
Yeah. So this is text qualifier. If you have your data, whatever we do, this one doesn't make any sense. Okay. In that case, you can select this one, this one, this one, anywhere. But in this case, you have to make sure that this is the option selected.
The rest of the things, you don't have to choose anything, right? If it's like just a comma.
Yeah, this is a comma separated file. This is see guys, it's the same file except that this one, the data is enclosed in double quotes.
Double quotes.
The data is enclosed in double quotes. Okay, let me show you how.
So we will edit the comma separator and we will put it.
So these are the files. Okay, once again. So these are the files we receive. Okay, these are the files we receive. So I was telling you, right? These are all the files we have. See, position, location, status, schedule, work experience. These are the many files we receive. So if you look at one of them, so this is how we have data. See, between double quotes. Okay. So anyway, so if I have data between double quotes, so I'm going to do next, and then I will do finish. So I already had that imported. So I will do Control S. Okay. Then I already have the structure of the target. Let me create a brand new mapping. So I will say M underscore double quotes. Okay. So I will drag and drop my session. I will drag and drop my source, drag and drop my target, right click, select all. I will map this here. Okay. I created a mapping. I'm not going to create a session. I'm directly going to create a workflow. Okay, you can directly create a workflow. You don't have to create a session. I'll tell you when to create a session, when not to create a session later. But now just know that you don't always have session is optional. Okay, I'm not going to create a session. Session is optional. Okay, I'm going to select this. I'll make sure that config object, the stop on error is 1. Okay, mapping, I will make sure that I'm reading data from the right folder. And this target table, I'll make sure I don't have any constraints or anything. I'll say truncate table option. It applies here. Okay, Control S. I'll run the workflow. Workflow will complete successfully. Workflow actually failed. Why did the workflow fail? Okay, so our workflow failed. Okay, so now when I check the session log, So it says, it will say invalid number, this will be failed, okay? Because this is a number field, right? This is a number field, and Powercenter is reading this as 3 different lines. Powercenter is reading this as 3 different lines, but this is not the 3rd line. So it is going to insert DER into number field, which is incorrect, right? So when you look at this, so how do you fix this? So there are 2 ways to fix it, right? There are 2 ways to fix it. The first way is you'll go here and do it like this, save, and you will run this and it will work. It will load the data, right? See, it loaded the data, right? But what if your file has millions of rows in which data is split? What if your file has millions of rows if the data is split like that? You're not going to go to each line and get, this is called as new line. This is called, when you have data like this, it means data is split into new line, okay? What if you have hundreds of lines, right? I just opened my file at work. It had hundreds of lines. I'm not going to go to each one of them and keep checking, right? Okay, so Powercenter has a special property. Can everybody go on mute, please? So Powercenter has a special property, okay? So 1 second, let me just increase this to 15. I'll show all of this, don't worry about this. My workflow will fail because it will say it was trying to insert a it is trying to insert that DER into the field. So when I check the data, table will be empty. Table will be empty because pre-SQL, the truncate table option will run, and then it will start inserting data and it will fail. And so now Powercenter has this property called match quotes paths end of line. I had to research for 1 hour to more than 1 hour. So this is how you can fix it. You can go to config object. Do you see this custom properties? Say apply, say okay, control S. So previously my workflow was failing, right? Now I'm going to restart this workflow. So it completed successfully. See, now it loaded data properly.
Abdul, did you paste over there anything else, or you just 1 click over that? That's it.
Just 1 click.
You pasted that.
So this one. So this is how it was, and now it will fail. See, now it will fail. Now it will fail, right? Now it will fail because the data is split into 2 separate lines. This is only when the data is in between, enclosed between double quotes. Now to fix this, all I have to do is go to the session, go to config object, and right click and restart. And it completed successfully. See, now it completed, previously it failed, and then it completed successfully. So I was reading some articles on it. I was reading some article. I found a very good article. This one, no, not this one. I think I closed that tab. Maybe I have it on my work.
Abdul, did you paste over there by yourself? Then you can obey. You paste yourself there, right? By yourself.
Yeah, I pasted it by myself. Okay.
Yeah, because on my session flow, it's empty. I'm not able to do it.
Yeah, it's so see. Okay, there are 2 ways of doing it. Okay, so it's empty, right?
Yes.
Empty, right? So all I have to do is go to config object, go to custom properties, control V. Or if you don't want to do it like this, you can just double click on this, go to config object, click here. This is a second way. Okay, create a brand new and typing match quotes pass end of line, and then just type in yes here. Either or
Yes,
that.
That was I was asking that, like, from where did you get this one? How can we get it? I mean, you Googled it, right?
I Googled it.
Okay.
It. So if I show you, so where is that link? Did I send it to her? Okay, I'll have to check 1 second.
So that was after consultation with the data owner that you could do that? Or?
Yes, they sent, they said, yeah, this was the website I was looking at. So if somebody has data which is split into 2 different lines, so it is reading it as 3 records instead of 2 records. These are just 2 records. These are just 2 records, but it is reading it as 3 different lines. So somebody said, add this custom property. So now we have to do this for 600 sessions we have in our Powercenter. We have 600 sessions in Powercenter. We have to do it for 600 sessions. Okay. So this is one thing we worked on today.
Interesting.
So try this out. So you guys know this even before you go to work. Okay. You might not even use it. I did not use this in past 10, 12 years. So if your data is split, if your data is between double quotes, it's enclosed between double quotes, and it is split into different lines. If it is split into different lines, okay.
So yeah, I'm looking at that condition. It looks like it could be 10 lines, as long as the quotes.
Yeah. So you're not going to go to each line and move it to the next line, keep moving it to the next line, right? You're going to just write it, and then we have 500, 600 files. You're not going to open each file and check whichever failed for that reason, and right, it's going to be painful. So we have to go back and give an estimate to our team lead saying that we have 600 sessions and we need this much time to work on this. So we have to get an approval. Is that clear? The other thing which I found out in February. Okay, I might. Okay, guys, don't think this is too much. I did not teach this to previous batches. They got a job. Okay, I don't need to teach you all of this, but I want to show you one more thing here. Powercenter. So this one is clear, right? If the data is enclosed between, if the data is enclosed between double quotes and it's split into 2 different lines, you can use that special custom property. Another
Abdul,
thing,
are there like a lot of custom properties like that? Like you can
very
just
good
search
point.
online?
Yes. So I checked today, there's like 30 special custom properties. Out of that, I used only one before. This is the second one. So just because I've been working on Powercenter all this year doesn't mean that I know everything. Okay. So yeah, I didn't want to scare you guys, but yeah, out of those 30, I knew one more. Fahad, do you know which other special custom property? Fahad or Wasim? There is one more special custom property which we used. It's an interview question. So when you're loading data from a table to a flat file, right now we are loading data from flat file to table. When you're loading data from table to a flat file, the first character you see is a hash symbol. So there is another custom property called, anybody knows that? This is another custom property. This is the only one I used before. So when you're reading data from a table and loading to a flat file, the first option, the first character you see is, you see a hash symbol. So you have to go and edit that and put that over there. Okay, let me go back. Okay.
I think you have it in your interview questions.
Yeah, it is there in the interview question. Okay. So now, how many characters is this? 1 second. (21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I think Powercenter can only handle up to this value. Nobody knows about this. Okay, you can ask people who have worked for 10, 15 years also, they might not know about this. So if I start this, I think this will work fine. Up to 31. Wait, did I remove that? It is there. Then why did it fail? Oh, I have to do Control S. Yeah, see, I did not do Control S. So now you know why I keep telling you, right? Keep doing Control S. See, I did not do Control S and it failed. Okay, now when I check this, Powercenter is able to load up to 32 characters, but any numbers which is more than 32 characters, Powercenter cannot handle it. So if I enter this, now Powercenter will fail. Actually, okay, no, it will not fail, but see what will happen. See, it rounds anything which is greater than 32 characters. Powercenter will round it off. It will round it off to the next value. So this is a bug in Powercenter. So I inserted this value. So it converted this to 0. All the way till here, it converted to 0. Is that clear? We had this in February earlier this year. I had to wake up at 4:15. I had to wake up at 4:15 in the morning and had to work on this. Is that clear?
How often do you have to wake up? Like when you have errors?
See, this was in February. I work at UCI, so somebody from UCLA. So look at this. See, at 5 in the morning on February 10th, I sent an email saying that this workflow failed. I'm looking into it. At 6:34, it took me how much time? 1.5 hours. Our data has to be loaded before 7. So then I figured out that this value was already present in my database, and this one was getting converted to this value again, and this one has a key on it, so it was failing. See, so we already had this value, and this 75 was getting converted to this. So we reached out to Powercenter, Informatica. We reached out to Informatica. So, and this, yeah, only up to 28. It cannot support values greater than 28. After 28, it will start rounding off. It will not fail. It will start rounding off. Sorry, after 31, it will start rounding off. Okay. So can someone tell me what is the fix for this?
That's remove output header hash.
No.
No.
That is something else. There is no custom property for this. So you cannot have a number field here. This has to be a varchar field. This has to be a varchar field. So you cannot keep employee ID as number field. So you'll have to make this as a varchar field. So alter, is that clear?
Because the varchar is more characters.
It can store up to 256 characters. So alter, so this is what we did. And we told other universities to convert this column. They use the same table. So alter table name, modify. What is the alter? Modify column?
No, modify and then column name and then varchar. But it will fail. You have a data.
Okay, all right. So you can take a backup. I think we did that. So truncate. This is the fix for it. So I'm showing you two things which I learned in the last 3-4 months.
Abdul,
So-
in that scenario, if you will do it like a varchar, let's say next page, whatever you are getting, if they are putting some like a number instead of numbers, like a letters in the first position, it's gonna take it. You know what I mean? I mean like a MPID, it should be number, right? Let's say you got another data, and in that data, instead of MPID, it will give AA. So
Yeah.
you're not gonna have any error message about it because you have a varchar.
Yeah. So I'll show you. So at the database, I changed this to varchar, right? I still have it as number here, right? I still have it as number. So what I have to do is I have to go here, either change this to a varchar field, either change this to a varchar and then 256. There are two ways. Either I change it manually here, or I import the table again. Okay, or I import the table again. Then I will have to go to source, and over here will have to make this as a string and make it as 256. Apply, say okay, Control S. Now I will go here. So I have string here, I have varchar here. Now over here I still have decimal. So instead of clicking here, I can just do right click, propagate attributes, and then propagate. This will change to string, and then do Control S. Okay. I will have to refresh my session. I will start my workflow. And at that time, my coworker was in India, so I was the only one. I was struggling for 1.5 hours. I was half asleep. I'm trying to use Google at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So, okay, now the workflow completed successfully. So if I check this, see, now I can insert as big as a value I want. So I can even increase this. I can increase this. I can increase. So just remember that if Powercenter cannot handle values greater than 31 characters in a number field, you will have to convert it to data varchar, or tell the source team to send smaller values. They will not send smaller values. They'll say this is the data we have. You have to fix it. So now I have more than 50 characters also. Now even more than 50 characters, it will work. See, I can enter as many values as I want, as big as a value I want. It's a rare case. Okay, it's a very rare case.
Abdul.
Yeah.
It's Ramal. So do you mind if you just tell what's going to happen, like the Kamran's questions? Like in this case, let's say you change this table to the varchar, right? And you have the stop error at the 1. And then if someone else is going to mistakenly put the A instead of the MPID, let's say before it was number case, everybody should put the 1, 2, 3, 4 or any number, right? So before, if they were all like making a mistake and put an A, because of the stop error 1, it should like stop the data and let you know that like there is an error. But in this case, if someone is going to make a mistake and put the A, now it's going to accept it.
Yeah. Now we told them that. Okay, the initial requirement was they will only send numbers in this field. That is why it was number. They were never going to put alphabets in it. But we never went back and told them that you can send us alphabets now. We tell them that.
No, but Ramil means like if we have two mistakes, like for example, Kader was before it was split in half. So in this case, it would take it. You know, like if we have two mistakes.
No. Yeah, you know what I mean. Actually, I know the Kamran's questions. So let's say that this number MPID before was a number case, right? Not a varchar. So in this case, let's say that you have a flat file, and then I'm just giving an example. HR department gives you a flat file and say that, hey, Abdul, put this data inside the table. When you put it, because of you have the stop error number 1. And if someone make a mistake in the MPID and they put the, let's say, A or B instead of number, it will give you the error message. And you're going to see there's an error. Very good. So in this case, if they say that, like, change this one to the varchar, right?
Okay.
So if you change this one varchar, the second day, if they're going to make a mistake and put again the A instead of the number, now it's going to be okay on the table.
Yes, it will not fail. It will not fail. Okay, now good question. Somebody has reports built on top of this table. Okay, we have people who build reports on top of these tables to check how many employees are working in the department. Suddenly they will notice that, okay, why is this employee ID alphabet when we should have numbers? They will submit a ticket. I will get that ticket and they will say this report has numbers in it. Can you check the underlying tables? So I will check the underlying tables. Okay, there is an alphabet here. So I will go back to the source team and say that please ensure that you only send numbers in this field. Okay. The second thing, they will say, okay, we will ensure that we will not. Second thing, we will do something called as error handling. Error handling means remember if zip code is negative or department ID is negative or employee ID has only alphabets in it, we will put in a policy saying that this column should only have numbers, something like this. Remember we did that question 0 to 9.
Yes,
should only have something like this. So we will do it in Powercenter. We will use this in expression, and then we will put error handling, saying that if department ID is negative or a zip code is negative or employee ID is not alphabets, that is actually one of the assignment questions in Powercenter I have. So take a look. I don't know. Did I? That is actually one of the assignment questions I have. We are going to do that later, but yeah, that's a valid question. We are going to Google Cloud assignments. Sorry, not here. Informatica. So I have Informatica. I don't know over here. Not this one. I think I'm doing error handling here. See, do not load any employees missing department ID or negative. See, so I have, if employee ID is negative or department ID is missing, load it to this error table. I think I have whatever you asked. See, employee ID cannot have numbers in it. One of the assignments is that also.
Yes, Abdul, but overall, yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah, so if you have, we can do that. See, if the phone number does not match this format, if employee ID is varchar, you have to load it to a bad table. So in SQL, we use regexp_like, right? In Powercenter, we also have regexp only. Same thing in, so once again, whatever we do in SQL, we will do in Powercenter. This is like one of the, if employee ID is varchar, so we will load it to another table. We will not fail the workflow, we will load it to another table. And then,
but in this, I'm sorry, interrupt you. In this case, it cannot give you take it to the bad table, because how it's gonna see that like it's a varchar or number? If it's gonna put a number, in this case, varchar accept the number and the letters.
No, we will say if the incoming value lies between A to Z, then it is an alphabet. If it's between 0 to 9, we did this in SQL. One of the assignments we did. If it's between 0 to 9, it's a number. So continue loading. If it's between A to Z, then do not load it into the regular table. Load it into another table. So we will have two tables here. We will have one table and another table. We have a bad table, or we can load it to another flat file. So we will read data from a flat file, load it to another table, and all the bad records, we will load it to another file. At the end of the workflow, the workflow will attach this file and send it to the source team saying that, okay, this is all bad records, please fix it. Powercenter will itself handle it. Okay, yesterday we did scheduler also. Clear? So just remember that Powercenter cannot handle number fields greater than 31 digits in it. And the other problem was, what was the other thing I said? If data is enclosed between double quotes like this, and that is split, and it is split into two lines, use custom property. Okay, even this Excel I did not maintain previously. I'm only doing it for this batch because I received feedback that people who miss classes, they want to be able to just see what topics I showed. Yeah, remind me. I will probably upload this. Clear?
Abdul?
Yeah.
Again, it's me, Rama. Today
I
you're
know.
gonna be with my name. Abdul, so
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that your answer is gonna be no, but still I'm gonna ask. So is there any a special condition that like we can change only just the one row on the employee ID to the varchar, but the rest of them is gonna stay as a number?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
We can write. Yeah. Can someone tell me how to do that?
Maybe when we put it, we can say where, right? Like a where.
Exception?
No, not exception.
Where? Maybe we can put the where.
No, not where. You already gave me the answer. If this, then do this. Otherwise, continue to do this. Right?
Okay.
How do you do that? If, then, else. We have case and decode, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So we can say if for this first one, just change it to varchar. Otherwise, continue to. Remember the question I gave? If the employee number have varchar, reverse the employee numbers. If it's number, do not reverse it.
Yes, I know. But it's gonna be as a display.
What?
No, if I think in the case, it's gonna be like when we put the data inside the table. Then if we use the if or like a case, right? It will give a condition at this time. I'm asking about the structure of the table.
Oh, the structure of the table?
Yes, structure of the table, like an emp ID.
Yes.
Let's say the first one is like a more than 25, then we can change only one row to the varchar, rest of them keep it as a number.
Yeah, you can do that with the help of this. In this one, okay, hold on, let me show you.
But this is gonna change the structure of the table of the SQL, right?
Yeah, you can do that, but we never do that. So this is what we will do. Over here, okay, remember I said in Powercenter we don't have case, we only have decode and IIF. So I will say if IIF and then I will say empire. Okay, in Powercenter you don't type anything. In Powercenter you don't type anything. You go to functions, all functions, you go to if statement. Okay, then you will go to ports. If emp ID, what was your question? If employee ID is a number, then change it to varchar.
Yes.
Okay, so you will say, you don't have to type, but you can reg underscore.
Regex. No, I think they are together. Regex, then we can put the underscore, I think.
Reg match, okay.
Or reg match.
You can say if reg match. I'm not going to write the entire thing, but yeah,
okay.
If reg match emp ID, and then you can say if it's a you said if it's a number, right? Convert it to varchar.
Yes.
So you can say if emp ID, same thing, whatever we did in Powercenter in SQL. So if this.
No. I think you misunderstand my question. I know. I see like logically what you are trying to do here. You are doing this changing the varchar to number or opposite in the Powercenter instead of the SQL, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is that we have the column emp ID, correct?
Yeah.
And then in the SQL, in your SQL worksheet, so only one of them, you remember? Yes, go over that, please. Go to the SQL. Okay, so you see the first one here is 2111111 is go like a longer, right?
Yeah.
Can I change only this one to the varchar, but the number 2 is gonna keep all the way down as a number like a 2 and. Do you know what I mean? Like that right now yes, this one you change to the varchar. It means that emp ID column entirely is now varchar, right?
Yeah.
So my question is that don't change all of them. Just change this one, like a 2111 to the varchar, but the rest of the column is gonna stay as a number.
Yeah, you can do that. So you can say if length if length of emp_id is greater than 31, change it to varchar, otherwise keep it number.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
If you can say if length of emp_id is greater than 31, then change it to varchar, then change it to varchar.
You cannot do it like that, Abdul, like emp_id number 1, only the, let's say, varchar, and 2 and like rest everything
You have to
will
give
be.
me a condition. You have to give. You can either have to say.
Yeah, you have to have condition, right?
So in this one, you are saying that we cannot handle more than 31 characters, right? So if we receive 31 characters, then convert it to varchar, because this one can still be loaded as a number, right? This one cannot be loaded as, so that's your question, right? So why cannot this be loaded as a number? Because it's greater than 31. So I said if length of employee ID is 31, greater than 31, then convert it to varchar. Otherwise continue to load emp_id.
Got it. So you have to give the condition, basically.
Yeah. This is decode only. This is how you do it.
Okay. Thank you.
No, but okay, hold on. But you cannot do this because Powercenter at the reader itself will at the reader itself it will start rounding it off. So over here only it will round it off. So you have to do something before this. Is that clear?
Yes.
Ramil,
No,
is that clear?
I understand. Logically, I understand like what you mean.
Yeah.
I need to understand the logic.
Yeah.
The rest of the thing I can work on it.
Yeah. So yeah, you have that option to it, but in this particular case, this doesn't make sense because over here only it has rounded it off. At the source, at the reader itself, if it sees a number, and if it gets over here only, it will round it off. So over the entire mapping, it will flow as with the 0, 0, 0s at the end. Here,
Yes.
we will do this. We will do this in the future. Error handling is very important. Okay. So we covered a lot of topics today. Please go through the recorded session. We have tomorrow. We are off. Saturday morning also you can go through the recorded session. Guys, please make sure everybody is exiting out of the class. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Abdul.
Yeah.
Do we have the Informatica assignment somewhere in a folder?
Right now there are no assignments because I'm just covering basics.
Okay.
So there is actually no assignments right now.
Okay.
But look at the first assignment.
They all should be on the Google Drive.
Yeah, you won't be able to do this.
I don't see it in the Google Drive, Abdul.
It should be there, right? Oh, Informatica assignments are not there. Okay. So yeah, Informatica assignments are not there, right?
But how come I see them? I see
because
14.
it's from batch 9. It's from batch 9.
Oh, okay. So those are not ours?
Those are not yours.
Yeah, okay. I was just asking.
Yeah, I am going to upload. See, I was talking to them at like 1 in the night. And I was telling him something, he was telling me something, and then he said it's still taking time to process. Okay, let me check here. I think I uploaded SQL assignments. I did not upload.
Yeah, Google needs new employees, ETL developers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's only SQL assignments. No, I do not have. Okay, let me create a folder and call. Okay, let me upload it. But everybody should have access. Everybody should have access to the batch 9 assignment because I gave access to everybody. If you go here.
There are 14 of them.
Yeah.
On the list.
Yeah, there's 14 of them. And yeah, there's 31 classes, 31 recordings. Okay. So we did only like 4 classes so far, but we should be good. We should end. I'm planning to end this batch by last week of July. Okay, we should be done. We have like 1 more month. Okay.
Abdul.
Yeah.
I know that it's late, that you wanna end up the session. So what's your suggestion that if you want, maybe tomorrow, if you have a time, can you help me to delete the sessions? As you showed the Kamran in the previous class, I did the same things and I had a lot of troubles. I mean, I don't have to do it now, don't worry about that, but anytime you want, maybe from the WhatsApp, you can help me.
We'll do Saturday. We'll do Saturday morning. We can show it to
I have the same problem. Yes, I want to delete sessions.
Okay, guys, first of all, if you create a mapping session and workflow, do not make it a habit of deleting it just because it's not working. If something is not working, you'd not throw it away, right? You have to go inside it and fix it. I know a lot of people who just start doing, even I used to do that. When I first started working on Powercenter, I would have so many invalid mappings, but when somebody looks at your folder, it shouldn't look like that. Okay, try to fix those. Try to fix those. Just because something is working, not working, you cannot just say I'll delete it and do it from scratch. A real programmer will go into that, try to fix it, but I will show you how to delete, because if you delete it from designer, it will not get deleted. It will still be there. When you try to create a mapping with the same name, it will say this mapping already exists. You actually have to go to version. I have to explain versioning in detail. So I'll do that on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do it on Saturday at 10 a.m. PST.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody, please exit the class. Okay. Otherwise,
Okay.
It's going to be huge.
Thank you, Abdul.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.